Hey everybody, it's Sherri. I wanted to do a quick spiritual check-in with everybody today. Topic of discussion is how to be the best version of yourself. This concept, or not really this concept, but this subject came to me about 5 years ago, maybe 6 years ago. But when I was planning to write my first book, and that phrase kept coming to my mind a lot, and it took some time to reflect upon what exactly I was channeling. What was the message that I was supposed to give to humanity? And I ended up writing a brief blog at the time, and I put that out there. A couple of years later, I put out a blog, and that information ended up relaying in so many different ways. And then I ended up putting it in one of my first books. And I use this term a lot, how to be the best version of yourself. And I think that this is an important period of time where we really reflect upon what that means and the various ways that we can be mindful of that and what we can do to achieve. And when I use the word achieve, I want to be clear that being the best version of yourself is an evolutionary process. So it's ongoing. You're never going to achieve necessarily this 100% version that's spectacular and perfect, because that really doesn't exist. We're continuously evolving in many lifetimes, in many experiences, in many forms, and in many different galaxies and places, in order to figure out what that means for us. And so it can be quite ambiguous as well, because the best version of me and how that looks and the blueprints of that may be very different for somebody else. And so it's not just a one size fits all approach, but it's really the concept of it. And so some of the things I wanted to talk to you about today are what aligns with that. So one of those things is kind of understanding, however you like to say it, your true power. So I think that this has been programmed out of us for such a long period of time, for generations and generations, purposely, by this convoluted matrix that we're in, and the deceit matrix and the power grid that we are in, this structure of these dark entities that have shifted our power away from us, and navigated us towards a trajectory of manipulation. And we have become very disconnected from our true power. And now we are being encouraged to find ourselves again. So understanding and knowing the power that each one of us have within ourselves, that we don't necessarily need to pay anybody or go to anybody to obtain that power, because it's been dormant within all of us. And that's an important key factor here, is that it hasn't been stolen, hasn't been taken from us. It's just dormant. It's always been there. It's never left. We just are not taught from a young age or throughout our life to how to tap into it. So we don't know it's there, and we don't know that we have the ability to control many things in our life, how to manifest, how to attract positive energy and experiences, and how to heal ourselves, and so many other things, because we're not taught that. So if we're not taught it, we don't know it. And I think the most pure and innocent period of our lifetime is when we are born, and unfortunately, many things happen, from womb toxins to many other things throughout our life. I won't go into the details here for the purpose of not getting my channel flagged by using certain terms, but I think many people watching this can come up with a few, if not a list of those things. And so the programming in this environment really disconnects ourselves. And the notion of God has changed over time to such a religious or such a dogmatic term that many people fear what it actually means. And I think that we can all find the God within ourselves, because we are all light. We are all from source. We are all beautiful. We are all sovereign to some level, and we are universal. We are multidimensional, and we need to find the connection within ourselves again, that lives within every cell of our being, every emotion, every thought, every energy, every experience is stored within our subconscious. And it's tapped into the connective consciousness of this planet and many others. So we're all connected. What happens here also affects other galaxies and star systems and dimensions, which is why we are receiving so much help, because despite the fact that this is a free will planet, it hasn't been the free will that you understand it or understand it to be for many thousands of years, because we are in a reality with many rules and restrictions that are displayed in various ways that keep us controlled, so that we don't actually have the free will that we should have. And so we are tapping into this new space, or shifting into a new energy or an awareness of what that true sovereignty really means, what free will truly means. And I believe that we have a lot of guidance and assistance right now from other galactics, from other beings, from other dimensional fields, from inner Earth, from outside of this planet, and they're not here to save us. And I think that that has been lost in translation over the last few years, when many people have been waking up and searching for answers, because knowledge is the new currency. We're all looking and searching for knowledge, of understanding where we come from, our origin, why we're here, what's happened, and what the truth truly is. And there are a lot of deemed truthers out there that are giving false truths to confuse everybody. And so discernment is key right now. But for us to go within and trust our own knowing and our intuition, we've lost that ability, because we're constantly in search of getting answers from our teachers, our mentors, our parents, our grandparents, and through books and so on. And many people are just reattaching themselves to the new age, truthers or podcasts and things like that. And we are losing ourselves in the process, because we're just transferring our power from one source to another. And so my biggest recommendation in how to begin the process of being the best version of yourself is to have a relationship with yourself, rediscover who you are, and start the healing process. The first step out of third density or this convoluted matrix is sovereignty, is discernment. It's going within and discovering what you really want. And instead of being that person that is the pillar of strength for everyone in your family and in your life, and taking on the burdens of everybody around you, which many of us do because we're empaths and we want to do that and want to help others, but then we self-sacrifice. We don't put ourselves first, and then we lose ourselves. And then we don't know who we are without our children. And many people see this as an example. When the families transition, where they're empty nesters and the parents lose their children to, they don't lose their children, but their children leave and become adults or have their own families. And then they're left trying to figure out who they are. They don't know who they are without them anymore. And that's just one example. Not everyone has children, so they can, when they retire or they shift jobs or sudden dramatic shifts occur in their life, whether it's a car accident or a death in the family or divorce or whatever it may be, that can also shift them and cause a spiritual awakening within them, where they say, hold on a second, I've been doing things a certain way for such a long time, and why do I do it that way? It doesn't necessarily resonate with me anymore. Who am I? And what are the things that I have believed up until this point, and why don't they resonate anymore? So many of us are going through a lot of those feelings, and that's the healing phase. It's really hard. It's raw. It's not fun. And so, a lot of the spiritual practices or spiritual hygiene that we talk about is a repetitive necessity, where you need to do it every single day. So just like brushing your teeth, you are checking in with yourself. How do you feel? What are your emotions? And then releasing anything that's not serving your highest good anymore. Any fear, sadness, resentment, shame, guilt, anything that you're feeling that's creeping up throughout this healing process. You take the time every single day to take deep breaths through the belly, through the nose into the belly, and then you hold it, And then say in your mind, as I release, my intention is to, as I release this breath, is I let all of that go. Any energy that's no longer serving my highest good, I choose to release it now. And if you do that multiple times a day, after a few days to a week, you're going to feel like a whole new person, because you are mindfully and intentionally clearing the energy from your body and your light body that's holding you back, that's causing blockages in your life. You don't have to be an energy healer to do that. It's really simple. And that's just one way that I have explained that you can facilitate the healing process. Other things you can do is create boundaries. So removing toxic energy from your life. So that could be friends, that could be relationships. I'll just say that. And some of them are easier to clear out than others. You may genuinely love someone, but maybe they're toxic for you. And if you're feeling like it's an imbalanced relationship where you are giving more than you're receiving, then you need to reevaluate. How does that person make you feel low and tired and fatigued every time you have an interaction? Do you feel obligated to help them? Do you feel like burdened by the choices that they make? Or do they always come to you for help and assistance, and then you give your energy and your time, and then they turn around and do the exact opposite? At some point, you have to decide, is this worth it? Is this energy exchange worth it? Is it actually benefiting them? And is it disharmonizing myself? So you distance yourself from any and all of those relationships that you can, and those that you cannot. You create energetic boundaries around yourself because you live with them or you work with them and you have no choice. You can buy certain things like black tourmaline and shungite and certain crystals to absorb or repel negative energy, hematite and many others, or just get Merkabas, or there are a lot of different options, and that's not what this video is about, but those are a few that you can do. You can do with simply just intention. Place yourself in your own grid of light, expand it out and strengthen it every single time you leave the house, so that you do not absorb any energy of everyone else around you that's not serving your highest good. So it's all about your intention. It's so powerful. Believing and trusting in yourself is paramount. It's number one. So as you heal, you empower yourself. You become strong. You become sovereign. You say, I've had enough. And I no longer attract negative energy, negative relationships, negative experiences that do not align with my highest good. And so it is. And you start to use the child within you, the imagination portion of you that's programmed out of us through many avenues. And you bring that back up and start thinking about what you want to attract into your life. You visualize it, you feel it, and then you have gratitude for it as if it's already occurred. You project that out. And I believe sometimes it takes a little time to manifest in the physical reality, but it's already happening in an energetic reality. You just need to give it a little bit of time, be specific, and don't second guess it. A lot of us have programs playing in the back of our mind that we're not good enough. We don't deserve it. And if you're asking for something and giving gratitude for what you want, but in the background, you're actually saying something else, the universe is going to get mixed messages. So you want to be clear about that. Honor your body. Our body is our temple, and we only get one in each incarnation. Yes, I do believe that we are going to have great technology coming to help us heal, but it's not quite here yet in the way that it's available for everybody, and not everyone can afford expensive treatments. So you have to utilize what you have, and there are things you can do today that will shift that. Stop eating processed foods, reduce or eliminate completely the negative sugars. And if you want to sweeten things up, you use honey, maple syrup, dates, and get away from the junk sugar, because it really truly disrupts the brain, causes brain fog, and can disrupt the harmony and the energy in the brain and the neurological system, and therefore it affects everything else. Reduce or eliminate alcohol, reduce or eliminate caffeine. Try to, if you can't eat organic and you can afford it, then you buy regular food from the grocery store, fruit and vegetables, and then you pray on it and you send it love and light, and ask it to nourish your body, and anything negative in it, it's removed. And so it is, and you believe it, and you accept it. Staying away from certain waters, from very popular companies that you buy in vending machines, and try to get your own structured water or better quality water. Um, Ground yourself, connect yourself to the earth, thank Mother Earth, nourish yourself in her energy through the plants, the trees, the water, the soil, the sunlight. There's so much misconception and lie about the sun and what it does to us, and all the toxic chemicals we put on to block the sun. So go out and spend 15 minutes in the sun, and allow the absorption of vitamin D to come through your system to help nourish you and balance you. Staying away from sodas, junk food, high salty foods. Just try to shift into an intuitive eating mentality, which I talked about with Catherine Edwards the other day. So you can check out that video. We talk more about it, but just honoring your body and what it wants. And it may change week to week, and you have to really pay attention to the subtle cues that your body gives you, because your body will let you know if it likes something or if it doesn't like something. You just have to pay attention. And things that you eat for years, you may not be able to eat it for months. Just like a woman that's pregnant has cravings and things that she can't eat. And that's a reason, because her body is telling her what it wants and what it needs to not only nourish herself, but also the baby in the womb. Music. Music is very harmonizing. And, the music industry has shifted many of the tones from, the 432 hertz harmonizing frequency to 440 and even lower than 432, so 430, and various other frequencies that disrupt the energy and disharmonizes us from the earth frequency. And it can cause agitation, aggressive behavior, dissociation, and many other things. And so you want to be careful about what you listen to, music wise. How does it make you feel? If it makes you feel agitated or fatigued or angry or aggressive, then you would want to stop listening to that particular music. Play 432 hertz in the background while you're at home, while you're reading a book, while you sleep. Watch how it changes you and makes you feel more calm and more balanced and more relaxed, because it truly is a beneficial, I guess harmonizer is the best word I keep using, but it really truly harmonizes our body. What else can we do? Just release judgment. Everyone's on their own journey, and it takes time, and they're on their own speed. And it's, imagine how much you're struggling. So everyone else is likely struggling in the same way or in different ways, and we're all responding to it differently. So, keep your attention on yourself and not judge other people for their lack of awareness, because maybe it's not their time yet. I believe that most people that are here still at this point are going to ascend, and we just need to give them a little bit more time. And it's not your burden to bear, and it's not our responsibility, nor is it okay for us to judge the people that are on their path that are taking a little bit longer. Perhaps there's a reason for it. Maybe their soul is keeping them hidden for a reason, and at a specific time they will awaken and they will emerge, and then maybe they'll be on the fast track. We don't know, but the best thing to do to be the best version of you is to pay attention to yourself, stay in your own lane, heal yourself, tap into your intuition and practice what that feels like, listening to your gut. We constantly second guess our gut, and we need to go back to trusting that our gut is our body's way of giving us signs that we are doing the right thing, or recommending the right choice for us in that moment, whatever it may be. And reevaluating choices and the way you live your life. I think that the big part of this ascension is self-discovery and finding your passion. So next, it's about, what is it that's going to make you happy? What brings you joy? What are the things that you would like to contribute to? What's your passion? If money wasn't an issue, which I think that it won't be much longer, what would you fill your time with? What would I can't speak. What would feed your soul? What would you really enjoy doing with your time if you could do anything? So clearly I'm choosing children's education. I have a passion for animals, so I'm combining the two together. But maybe you're interested in helping discover more about the earth. One of the biggest things that I've received lately from one of my guides, through one of the sessions that I did with an individual, um, and I've noticed more of that recently, is that when I asked the higher self of the soul, what is it that you're here to do? They said, I just want a choice. You know, our free will, like I mentioned before, has been distorted. So they said, I want to be in a true free will reality, and I want to explore and figure it out for myself. I didn't come here with a specific agenda. I didn't come here to do this big, grandiose thing. Or maybe I did, but I want to figure out what that looks like. I want trial and error. I want to explore the world and travel and try out different things. I just want the ability to choose, because for X amount of lifetimes, I haven't had the ability to do that, because it's a lot of decisions were made for me. So a lot of people watching this, you might feel discouraged because you hear all these people saying, "Oh, if I had this amount of money, I would do this, or I would do that," or you hear me talking about what I want to do, and you're saying, "Oh gosh, I don't really know at all." Well, that's okay, because not everybody is meant to. Many of us are here to try to figure out what that looks like in a different energy, when you are in a higher density, where you have clarity and more discernment, and things are more clear to you. And then perhaps you'll find your passion through trial and error, or maybe it'll just come to you. But I think people just want the ability to figure out what that looks like, without limitations. Because where we're going, I believe, is not only self-healing and reflection and balance, but then being of service to others, and what that looks like. And, how can I now use my skills and my wisdom to then help the collective? What does that look like? And that's where we are truly aspiring to be. In my book, I call that the penthouse. In my metaphorical emotional high rise, I think many of us are striving to be at that top floor right before you get to the penthouse. But the penthouse, what that means is you've now worked on yourself enough that now you can turn around and help others. That does not mean that those in the deemed penthouse have it all figured out and are all knowing. Because I think even when we move forward, we're still going to have struggles, and we're still going to have challenges. Otherwise, what's the point in being here? So we're constantly evolving, we're constantly changing based on our experiences and the choices that we do make. We will still make mistakes, but the beautiful part about it is we will be in a more collaborative and collective, where we help each other grow, and we build bridges towards each other, and we are more cohesive, and it's more of unity, and what's the best for everybody as a whole, as opposed to this egocentric reality that it's been of what's best for me, and how much money can I make, and how much can I have, and I don't care about the person next to me, even if they have nothing. At least I have everything. We're moving away from that, and we are moving more into this beautiful environment of cohesive uh, oneness and unity, where we help each other. We help each other, and we thrive together, and we do what we can to help the person next to us, so that we can lift them up, because we don't know what could happen when we lift them up. Perhaps they have a key or some knowledge that isn't awakened in them, that then can help us. And then next thing you know, we're all contributing in some beautiful way. So being the best version of yourself is a loaded statement, and there are many ways that we can interpret that and incorporate it into our everyday routine. But the important thing is that it isn't a one-day fix. It's an evolutionary process that will likely continue until the day that we decide to leave these bodies and go on to the next venture. It will never stop growing, and will never stop changing, but in a positive way. And this is such an exciting time. And so hopefully this video is helpful for those of you feeling a little bit lost, feeling insecure and unaware or unsure of where things are going, because they haven't happened in the exact timeline that many of us have hoped it would be. But I believe we are on the timeline that is of the highest good of as many people as possible. So it may end up being slower for many, and many might think things are moving really fast. So it just depends on your perspective, right? So hang in there, and instead of losing hope, disconnect from the videos and the podcasts and the truthers for just a moment out of your week, and take time to be in silence with yourself, or exercise and meditate, ground yourself, be with your family and your friends. If you don't have anybody around you and you feel like you're kind of a hermit, maybe because you wanted to, and that's by design, then you go outside and be with nature. You're never alone. No one's ever alone, no matter what they say or where they are or who they are surrounded with or not surrounded with. There are so many beings around you and all of us that are here to help and guide us and to give us as much love and support as possible. So even when you feel alone, you're never alone. So I think that's everything I wanted to say today. So I guess just looking at my notes. Yeah, I guess that's it for today. So I hope this was helpful for you. And I'll be doing another video shortly with Carly and Julia. We'll talk some more. I have a few other interviews coming out later in the month. Please continue to follow, like, subscribe, do all the beautiful things to keep us going and keep the word out. And the more we can help each other grow, the faster we will be in the energy that we desire. So take care, everybody. Bye.